What up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Leslie, and today on the Nerdy Narrative, I'm going to do a book haul, and it's a big one for me. I usually do small ones here and there, but I've been collecting books for quite a while, been putting off filming one, and I have this place where I store my books that I want to do on a book haul, and I put one in there yesterday, and I was like, this is a huge stack. Let's do this video so I can get these books on the shelf and their various places where they're going to go in the TBR cart or on the imminent TBR shelf, all of that fun stuff. Let's jump into it by beginning with books that I bought either digital or audio, because if I don't, I'll forget about them. The first purchase I want to talk about is the audiobook for Quaint Creatures, Magical and Mundane by Andrew D. Meredith. I pre-ordered this one and it was every bit the delight that I knew it was going to be. I have done a dedicated review already on the channel, which I will have linked for you to check out in the description below. This is a cozy fantasy with a twist. Instead of it being a coffee shop or a bookshop, it's a veterinarian shop for magical creatures, as you can guess by the name. There's also a couple of mysteries that the staff at Quaint Creatures find themselves embroiled in trying to solve. Such a fantastic book. A few other audiobooks that I picked up are the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobooks by Matt Denneman. There are 6 that are currently out. The 7th one comes out, I believe, on October the 1st. I've already got it pre-ordered. If you're someone who has ever played video games ever in your life, or you played Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, this lit RPG series is for you. It does have a lot of language, so if that's something that turns you off from a book, I would say steer clear, but my gosh, I've never laughed so hard. But we got all 6 books that are currently out, and then we've got the 7th one pre-ordered, and then there are a few books that are added to my Kindle library. The first one is The Devil's Playground by Craig Russell. This was gifted to me by my friend Sharon after she saw my video about horror movie. That's the newest release from Paul Tremblay. That one had a very unique take on the cursed film trope, and when I was talking about how much I enjoy those type of books, Sharon said, oh wait, I have one you are going to love. Just a quick glance at the book description for The Devil's Playground. A riveting 1920s Hollywood thriller about the making of the most terrifying silent film ever made and a deadly search for the single copy rumored to still exist, from the internationally acclaimed author of The Devil Aspect. Okay, so if I love this one, then The Devil Aspect is going to be next on my list to read by this author. So this next book I picked up for a little bit of a funny reason. Sometimes there is absolutely no rhyme or reason to why I choose to buy a book. Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's FOMO, sometimes it's a favorite author that I'm going to read everything they ever wrote. But this case, this is a new release from an author that I have been following on Twitter for years, and I thought, why have I never read anything by this author? I had come across a tweet where he was promoting a new release and had a pre-order link, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna get this book. And that book is, let me read it here from my notes because it's a long title, Colossus with a Poisoned Tongue, a novel of the occult by Coy Hall. In the city of St. Ghost, life revolves around an imposing statue, the Colossus, a god cast in bronze. Here's the creator of the alchemical world of priests and soothsayers. But even if the lowliest who live in his shadow are sacred, why is the Titan unable to stem the onslaught of horrors that seep through the stone, tunnel in the earth, and bubble in veins? Amidst this tumult, Calpurnia, mistress of the temple of Bastet, slits the caul of her existence, finding the origin of this cataclysmic scourge. She'll learn one thing above all. This is how the world ends. I know Coy Hall has written a slew of books, so this is going to be my entry into his work, and if I enjoy it, I'll be continuing, and of course, you know, I'm going to tell y'all all about it. My last Kindle purchase is called Bluebird by Ciel Perlot. I recently read their novel, The Hunter's Gambit. Loved it, was kicking myself because I had the opportunity to read the arc for Bluebird, the debut novel, and I didn't do it, and now I'm an idiot, and now I'm going back and rectifying my mistake. Bluebird is a science fiction novel that features lesbian gunslingers in space. How did I not want to read this as soon as I read the word gunslinger and space? I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to rectify that mistake very soon. My physical books that I have picked up, and some of these I've already read and done reviews, which I'll mention. I won't get too deep into those since I have dedicated reviews on the channel already. And so we'll just start right here on the top. I picked up a copy of The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. I'm so glad I took a chance and purchased a copy of this book, because once I read it, if I had not owned it, I would have immediately purchased it. This is one of the most impactful novels that I've read in 2024. Highly recommend it. It's a magical realism novel where one day everyone wakes up and there's a little wooden box on their doorstep, has their name inscribed on it, and another inscription that says, "The measure of your life is contained within." There's a string in the box, and depending on how long or short it is how much longer you have left to live. And this is about 8 different people, ordinary people, and the choice that they make about whether or not they look at that string. Absolutely love that book. Have no idea when this video goes up, but I did do a review for it. If it's already on the channel, I'll have it linked. If not, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and then you won't miss it when it comes out. Now this next one, I know my review has already gone up. That is Chasm by Stacey McEwen. This is the second book in the Galatian trilogy, a romance fantasy trilogy that's going to be wrapping up September 10th. The final book in the trilogy is going to be released. If you like romantasy, I think you would really love the Galatian trilogy by Stacey McEwen. I have reviews for both books in the series, which I'll have linked below, and I cannot remember if I did a dedicated review for this one yet. The Words of Kings and Prophets by Shauna Lawless. I read this one already. I just realized when I went to pre-order my copy of the third book in the series, I realized I never got the second book. I read the arc for it, just loved it. This is one of my favorite historical fantasy series I have ever read. Shauna Lawless is just absolutely amazing. I know I reviewed the first book in the series, so I'll have that down in the comments below. Not comments, description box. You comment, I describe. Next, I pre-ordered The Mercy of Gods by the author duo James S.A. Corey. I have no idea what it's about. They wrote one of my favorite series of all times, especially adapted. The Expanse series adaptation is phenomenal, except for the ending, and that was just a royal mess because of things, humans, people suck. So The Mercy of Gods, no idea what it's about, but I knew that I was going to want to read it. How humanity came to the planet called Anjin is lost in the fog of history, but that history is about to end. Okay, that's all I need to know. Honestly, the name of the authors who wrote it was really all I need to know. And would you look at that? Next in the pile, I've uncovered another author who I've followed on Twitter for forever. I actually have interacted with this person on many occasions. He's been posting about different muscle cars, and I'm into that too. So we've been chatting about different cars that we've had, cars that we would like to own again, all of that kind of fun stuff. And amidst all that, he has the second book in his series that just came out, and I saw him promoting it before it did, and I thought, you know, I need to read this person. I've been following them, talking with them for years. It's time. And that author is R.R. Verdi. And the book, the first book in the series, is The First Binding. One of my favorite all-time authors, Jim Butcher, has blurbed it. And I actually watched a promotional live stream with MJ Kewen that was coordinating it that had R.R. Verdi and Jim Butcher on it. That was a lot of fun. I can't believe I've never read this series. I heard it's amazing, but this is Brandon Sanderson's size. But the second book just released, and it was the last book that I got to add to this pile, The Doors of Midnight. These covers are gorgeous. I don't even care if I like the series or not. I'm going to keep these beauties just to look at. They are works of art. I have not read the description for either one of these books, but I love the little tagline on each of the covers. So on The First Binding, it says, "Every great story begins with a lie." That's intriguing. I can't wait to find out what that's going to be about. And then the second book says, "Some stories are hidden for a reason." No idea. I'm not going to read the book description. I'm going to go in blind. Hopefully I'm going to be very delighted to read these finally, and I can't wait to tell him, like, bro, I know we've been talking for years. I finally read your books. Now, next on the pile is another book that I have already read and reviewed, loved, and this is one of my favorite all-time authors, period. That's Stephen Graham Jones. I was so excited to receive an ARC in the mail to read I Was a Teenage Slasher. This is my new favorite book by this author. Previously, it was The Only Good Indians, which I have like 5 or 6 copies of that book. So I have the ARC, which I read, I loved, and after seeing the cover, I decided that I liked the UK cover a little bit more. I liked the modern look of it. And then Saga Press sent me a signed copy of the US version. Now, if you'll look when you have these two together, they're a little bit different. I just love the coloring of the finished copy a little bit more than I do the ARC. And I am just... oh man, I am so proud to have this to add to my collection, and I will probably do just like The Only Good Indians. Every single version that I can get my hands on, it's gonna happen. So the next 3 books in my stack here is all from one series. My friend Ev read Unsub by Meg Gardner. She loved it. She knows how much I love reading books about serial killers. She sent it to me to read and enjoy after her, and I loved it so much that I bought the other 3 books in the series. I even got to meet the author. She came to one of our indie bookstores here promoting the 4th book in the series, so I got to meet her, talk to her. She is such a nice person, just so good with doing book tours. She explained everything so well, talked about it so thoroughly that there weren't any questions for us to ask about the book. We were just asking about other things in conversation. But I really enjoyed meeting her. I have read the whole series. I just binged right through. I'm not sure if all of the videos have been released. I know the first 2 books, Unsub and Into the Black Nowhere, are up on the channel. And just like Unsub, that's how I got this one, Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. My friend Gail sent this one to me after she read it. When you describe something to me as creepy, weird, dreamlike, unsettling, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. So this one is on my list to get to. I love the cover. I can't wait to find out and tell y'all all about it. My last one is another ARC that I got from Angry Robot. This is one I begged for. Years ago, I read and reviewed on the channel The Hollows by Daniel Church. So as soon as I saw that Daniel Church had a new release coming, I was like, Angry Robot, what do I need to do to get a copy? And they sent me one. It's called The Ravening, and it's coming out September 24th. You know this one's going to be reviewed on the channel. I don't even know what it's about. I just saw the cover and knew that it was by Daniel Church. Literally all that I needed. So let's see. The Ravening is a gripping and claustrophobic horror novel that sets a timeless evil against one young woman and her belief in herself and the possibility that somewhere, somehow, there is love in the world. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to read this. It's going to be phenomenal. I just know it is. But those are all of the books. Quite a pile that I got here in this book haul that I wanted to share with you. Just let you see the pretty covers. Maybe some of these books are by your favorite authors that you didn't know had been released, or even upcoming releases that you didn't know were coming out that I can get on your radar. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. Let me know. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.